channel. Today we are working on chapter 7, programming challenge 14. And this programming challenge is to calculate the average, the highest and the lowest population between 1950 and 1990 in US population. They gave us a text file that contains the list of a mid-year population between 1950 and 1990. So here it starts with 1950, mid-year 1950, and it stops 40 years later, which is 1990 here. So our job is to take this text file and store it in an array or ArrayList, and then calculate the increase or decrease between the years, and show the average, the highest year increase or the lowest year increase or decrease. So we have to basically calculate those numbers. So let's create a class in the chapter 7 programming challenge 14. I will create a class called population data. So the first thing would be a decimal format called df, and I want to format the numbers because the numbers are large. They have commas and zeros, so I want to display it nicely. So I'll say number, comma, number, 3 numbers, period, and 2 zeros. And it is not necessary. You can skip this step if you don't want to, but I just like to see the commas and the period in the final result. After that, we need an int array. I will call changes, and it will have 40 numbers. And this array would be stored the number that changed from year to year between 1950 to 1990. I want to store each year's difference. Then we have to create a main method. We'll say ArrayList integer population get population. We'll create a method that returns ArrayList that contains an integer. We'll say ArrayList integer population new ArrayList, and you have to use scanner new scanner new file. Also, we have to go to the file. It's called uspopulation.txt. Right click, copy path, absolute path, and paste it here. And you want to copy this and say try, and we want to catch any exception. to string. If there is any exceptions or any errors, and after that we will say while scanner has next. We want to add then each line to our array here, population. We'll say population that add scanner next int. So after that, we will just say return population. Also, we have to populate the changes array. But we will say for int 0, we'll say int 1, I less than population dot length, not that size. So in order to get the difference between the years, we have to store it in a variable. We say diff. We say population get I. This will give us the current number in the file. So we have to subtract the previous number. Since we are starting the second number, we have still the zero index. If we didn't start 1 and started with 0, it would be an error, because when we say population that get I minus 1, when we say that, I would start with index 0. So when you say I minus 1, that would be index -1, which does not exist. You know, the population only has starts with the 0 index and up. So that's why we are starting 1, because when we start 1, it gives us a one number that we can subtract from. So after that, we will say changes of I equal the difference. So now the differences between the years will be stored in the changes array. So both arrays are populated. The population array from the text file and the changes array from the differences between the years. They are both populated. So after that, what we would do, we will go to the main method, and we would say int total equals 0, int lowest year equal, we will say population get 1, the index 1, because the index 0 will always have this 0.0. So we want to start index 1. Also, we'll say greatest year. We'll say population. We will start with the index 0 of the population. Also, we want to show the years as well. Say year 1 equals 0, year 2 equal 0. Then we will say for int I1, I less than population dot size then what we would do is we will say total plus equal to population. No, we don't want to calculate the population. We don't want this. What we want is, in order to calculate the average increase of the years between 1950 and 1990, we have to go through the changes array instead of the population array, right? Because the population only gives us these numbers, which were the mid-year population, but the changes array would give us the differences between the years. So we want to go through the years. We will say 1, and also we have to correct this. Instead of saying population 1, we will say changes. We only care about 1, 0. If we want to show the population, right? If we want to just show without calculating anything, we can do that. We can say population get I. Let's check out before we calculate anything. So you can see this is all the numbers, but we haven't formatted it yet. So we can say, we can copy the population.get statement and we say df format and paste it. Now it will look better. It will add the commas and the zeros in their right places. In the first year would be 1950, and the second year would be 1951 until we got 1990. So this is the mid-year. These are the mid-year population increase. So we have to find the differences between the 1950 and 1951, and 1951 from 1952, and so forth. We have to find the differences between all 40 years period. And also we have to find the highest increase and the lowest increase in these numbers. So in order to do that, we have to use this other array that we created it. So say for int I0, I1, I less than change I is incremented by 1. So first of all, we have to add the total. We have to add the total. We have to say change of I, and also we have to check the minimum and the maximum number in these numbers. We can say change I is greater than greatest year. The greatest year will be equal change lowest year. Say lowest year equal change of I. Also, we want to add year 1. We have to say year 1 equal to I, and we have to say year 2 equal I. After the for loop, we have to calculate the average. Say new line, and you'll say df format, say total divided by change dot length. And you'll say plus new line lowest change df dot format, say lowest year and we say greatest change df format greatest year. So let's run it again. So you can see the average is 2,373 between all the increases for these 40 years. And the lowest change is 1,881, and the greatest change is 3,185. So, but we haven't added the years, right? So we have to do that. We'll say for the lowest, we'll say plus parentheses, we'll say 19. Before the parentheses, we have to say tab from the year and parentheses 1950. It will start 1950, right? So we have to add the years. Is year 1 for the lowest, or no, year 2 is the lowest, so we'll say year 2. So we would add, we will start 1950 and we will add whatever years the lowest year increase was found. So we'll say from this year to, we'll say to another parentheses, we'll say 1950 plus another parentheses year, year 2 plus 1. We will say +1 because we started in the for loop. We started 1, so we are 1 year behind. That's why I'm adding 1 in year 2. So let's check for this lowest year first. Then we will add the greatest year later. Okay, from the year 1967 to 1968. That is the lowest year, 1967. So basically, it is 17 years after 1950. So we will add 16 because we start 1 here. So this is the lowest. This is the lowest increase. So let's check out the greatest from, you will say 1950 plus year 1 to parentheses 1950 plus year 1 minus 1. Let's run it again and see the greatest increase between those years. Okay, from 1955 to 1956. That was the greatest increase. So basically, it was 5 years after the data started. So it would be here. So the fourth year was 158,956, and the fifth year was 161,884. So basically, it would be 3,000 difference. So I think we finished. I think we finished the requirement. They said we have to show the average, the lowest, and the greatest increase between the years, and we showed the years as well that the increase happened. So also I want to show you this is the regular data from the text file. I will show you instead of showing the population, I'll show you the changes. And we will say we will show the changes. here are the changes between the years in those 40 years. The first year, there's no change. The second year, which would be 1951, mid year, it would be the change is 2,114. The third year is 2411, and fifth year is 2920, and the sixth year is 3,185. So maybe this is the highest, right? And yeah, this is the highest, because other years are only 2,000 and below. So there is only 3 years where the population is 3,000 and above. And within those 3 years, number 6 would be the highest. So that is it, guys. I hope you guys find this useful. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.